Hello everyone, my name is Akanksha Nani, and welcome to my YouTube channel NeuroChat with AG. On this channel, I plan to cover topics that are closest to my heart and support the neurodiverse community. Topics related to neurodiversity, autism spectrum disorder, and more. On the channel, I will interview thought leaders, esteemed researchers, scientists, professors, doctors, and psychologists, seeking their views and updates on their latest work, research, etc. I will also chat with parents of neurodiverse kids and adults and talk about experiences of neurodiverse individuals. Michael Hagewood Goodroe is a dynamic and inspirational speaker, author, and advocate who has defied the odds to achieve remarkable success despite being diagnosed with autism, which many people consider a huge challenge, and other health challenges as well. From a young age, Michael faced significant obstacles that could have hindered his potential, but through resilience and determination, he has turned his life experience into a powerful platform for advocacy and motivation. His journey, marked by perseverance and a deep commitment to helping others, serves as a beacon of hope for individuals and families navigating similar paths. Michael's story is not just one of personal triumph, but also a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the profound impact of support, understanding, and self-belief. His book, What Autism Gave Me, A Devastating Diagnosis to a Triumphant Life, is a powerful testament to the unshakable human spirit and ability to succeed despite all obstacles. Today, he inspires audiences around the world with his messages of courage, acceptance, and limitless possibilities that lie within each of us. Mr. Goodroe, welcome, and thank you very much for the time today.
Oh, thank you for having me here. I'm glad to be here, and I always love to help others with my words and my story.
I really wanted to ask about your story of perseverance and success, which can provide valuable insights to others facing similar challenges. So could you share your personal story and the challenges you faced growing up with autism and a learning disability?
Well, yes. For those of you that don't know, I say this in all my talks. Autism is a condition that can affect a person's IQ, motor functions, communication, and social skills. For me, all four of these areas were greatly compromised, which led to me being diagnosed as low-functioning autistic. I had terrible motor reactions. I didn't really talk that much unless I was repeating what I had heard from movies and television. It looked like to the rest of the world, I wasn't paying attention to what they were saying, even though I could understand and pay attention. But, my parents saw that that even though I was different, I was no less capable than other children. So they worked with me, years of therapy, martial arts training, musical training, and social training has improved me greatly to now that I am a high-functioning autistic.
That's very inspiring. So to go into more details, how did your family and support system contribute to your journey of overcoming obstacles?
Well, one of the things is that growing up, I didn't try to compare myself to others. I went to a small private school where we were encouraged to better ourselves through comments and feedback. And, I tried not to compare myself to others. I tried to only focus on my own problems. So, it wasn't as daunting if I didn't focus on other people and stuff like that. But I would say that it also gave me, my parents and my friends and the people that cared for me gave me sort of a safe haven to sort of help me get better. Sort of like when you're doing boxing, when the round's over, you go to your corner and get yourself back together before the next round. In a way.
And are there any parenting style tips and approaches you would like to talk about that your parents adopted?
Well, so I'm not a parent. My brother, who is 5 years younger than me, has 3 children under the age of 5. But I would say that one of the things I would say to most parents is to have patience. A lot of autistic people I've talked to, they're some of the nicest people I know. It's important to show patience with them. And, some children are actually more sensitive than others. They don't some don't always respond well to what some would call tough love. Which again, it's not for everyone, but my parents were patient with me. They helped me understand, and they always told me, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, if you don't understand, just ask and they'll help, and we'll help. And I took that approach with a lot of my life.
That seems like really good, general advice to kind of, being a good parent. And in one of your interviews, you mentioned your love for learning skills like music and karate and calling your teachers superheroes. So how did these help?
Well, again, it wasn't until I learned about my diagnosis when I was writing my book that it sort of opened my eyes. After that, I considered a lot of these teachers who didn't give up on me, who kept working with me, superheroes, because I once heard a phrase. It does, we all know the famous phrase, "It takes a village to raise a child." Well, sometimes it takes a superhero, someone who can step up and show the child that you can stand on their shoulder. You can stand tall. For example, my music teacher, Francesca Richards, a wonderful woman who became like a part of my family through the years. I drove her crazy sometimes because it was so hard for me to do piano, but she always understood that I was trying my best, that it was always hard for me to practice, but she knew that I was sincere, that I was trying. And when she discovered I could sing, she really helped nurture and foster that talent, which is what helped me get into college.
And when you were young, you had issues with IQ, motor skills, and communication, as well as social skills. So despite all these challenges, you earned a college degree, an MBA, and recently a 4th degree black belt in karate. You attribute this to focus on one goal at a time. So could you please explain that?
Okay, well, if you remember The Martian with Matt Damon, I know I say this all the time in all my talks, but I feel like it's important to mention this. In The Martian, Matt Damon says, solve one problem, then solve another. And by the end, you would have solved them all. And, that's, in a sense, at my school, Mill Springs Academy, we would often have weekly meetings, if we wanted to move up in a level. At my school, we had something called the level system, level A, B, C, and D. A was like for the best students. B was like for the good students. C for the average students, which everyone starts out, and D for the trouble students, the ones that really were in dire need. And if you wanted to move up in a level, you had to attend. We attended these meetings. We would often feedback each other. We told how we felt. Kids, children are brutally honest at that age, and getting a bunch of kids together, telling them how you feel about someone, that is the best kind of honesty there is. And I wanted to be a level A since I was in 1st grade, and I managed to get it in my last 2 years in high school. But I mostly stayed at level B because it was hard for me, and I felt like it was a challenge, like I couldn't make it. But I strived to do so, and to be a level B. I had been dropped a few times. You can be dropped if you were misbehaving, or they felt you were in trouble. If you, and that had happened to me. So every week we would listen, we wanted to get better. We would listen to each other's problems and try to work on it. And, and one of the things we always were encouraged to do was to write out weekly goals, how we would improve over the week. We would put them on our point sheet. And the point sheet was how our teachers kept track of if we were good, if we were bad. And, on our point sheet, we always put like our weekly goal and our overall goal. Once we tried to meet our weekly goal, then we would try to move forward to our overall goal. We would often ask our teachers or our friends about ways we could improve. And, from there, I just kept trying to improve. I kept trying to get better because, I knew I I always tried to be a good person. And, it was important that I tried to listen to that criticism and try to better myself. And, it also helped me listen to my parents and to listen to my karate teachers, listen to my music teachers. I would try to take direction, even though it was tough for me. My body, it was like my brain was telling me, sometimes my brain would be telling me one thing and my body just would be slow to act. But I just never stopped trying, and I just kept doing it. Another thing is that my karate school, Taido, is all about, our slogan is never give up. So I would say that by listening to all those people, it helped me improve myself and improve the direction I wanted to go in.
My personal favorite in your book, What Autism Gave Me, is a powerful reminder that the human drive to succeed is stronger than any diagnosis. Please share some of the events that changed the course of your journey.
Well, I would say one of the big events was getting my first degree black belt. I was about 15 years old. I had done martial arts I'd done Taekwondo for 10 years. I always wanted to be a black belt, but, I never really thought I would make it, but I did. To me, it was a perfect day. We took our test at 6 a.m, me and a dozen other people who some of them I'm still friends with to this day. And, we had to do like over a dozen techniques, all five katas at the time. We had to do like a kobo, which is like a rehearsed form of like a self-defense form, and finally sparring to end it. And it was the most tiring 3 to 4 hours I had ever done at that time. And it really changed for me. It was a big event. It made me want to be better. It made me reaffirm my love for the martial arts, which I still have to this day. I haven't just practiced karate. I've practiced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Wing Chun Kung Fu, Jeet Kune Do, Muay Thai, Kali Eskrima. Those all. Another big event I would have to say redefined my life was getting into college. If you've read my book, you know that I wanted to go to college, but my SAT scores were below the average. We're below the minimum for acceptance. One day I was in high school and I was walking by and I saw a poster for the University of West Georgia. When you find something that's right for you, you just know it in your gut. And, I just felt, I felt it was there. And, I knew they had a music program and I was a good singer. So I thought, why not try to get a singing scholarship? As I said, Mrs. Richards helped me a lot. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but she passed away a few years ago. And I miss her every day. But, she helped me sing classical music. I met with the head of the music department, and I did not tell him my SAT scores or my autism until after I had auditioned and had impressed him with my singing. So he goes to the admissions board to get an exemption for me. And the board thinks, why not? This kid will probably wash out after his first semester. And lo and behold, 5 years later, I get a degree in history. I've always been into warrior cultures and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why I majored in history. I love like cultures and warriors, and I especially love American culture, which were some of my favorite classes learned. Again, another big moment would be graduating college, which again I didn't think was an amazing thing. By this time I had learned enough about what autism was that it sort of got me aware that I thought it was a momentous thing. And I would say another big thing in my life that really changed was my very first talk. And in 2014, I was asked to speak at the CDC in Atlanta, Georgia, where I live. And, it was I was in a panel with other autistic people who who were high functioning and low functioning. A lot of people liked how I answered. We all had our own stories and stuff like that, and it was important. I learned about them. It was hosted by Alexis Weinman, a former Miss America who is autistic, which I think is amazing. She was so nice, so wonderful. And then other colleges would ask me to talk, and in 2015, I was keynote speaker at Jacksonville State University, the one in Alabama, not Florida. And Valerie, who writes the foreword in my book, is the one who told me to write my book. And it was from there, a few years of hard work, which is what my book was created. We focused on a lot of the, we didn't focus on my mundane life, but on the noteworthy stuff that happened. We focused on the noteworthy stuff about my diagnosis, moving forward. I mean, and a lot of my major accomplishments. When I was in high school, I wanted to be an actor. I still kind of do, which is one of the reasons why I'm so good at speaking in public. I learned that if I wanted to be an actor, I had to get over stage fright very quickly. So I kind of feel like that's an important skill that I have when it comes to addressing people. I still, it's still a dream I hold on to, even though it's not going to happen anytime soon, but it would have been nice to be an actor. That's all.
That sounds amazing. How kind of how you mentioned earlier about focus on one goal at a time, you kept going at the things you wanted to do and you achieved them, one by one. So I guess my question was when you were younger, what kind of started your involvement in martial arts, and how do you think that benefited you as you were growing up?
Okay, well, martial arts, that's actually pretty simple. I've always loved martial arts, even before I started doing it, because I loved Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee. Well, I didn't really get into Bruce Lee till I was 10, but the fact is, I really enjoyed stuff like that, and I kind of wanted to do that when I became an actor. So that my parents saw that martial arts was to help a child's motor function and with their motor function, and karate is a good place and martial arts is a good place to meet people, to socialize. So it was kind of go hand in hand. But being that I had trouble my first few months, I was really behind. It was hard for me. One of my teachers was kind enough to help me with some of my techniques. He came to my house and he helped me out. I'm still friends with him to this day. He's only 10 years older than me, but he has been a friend of mine since I was a little kid, and I feel a strong connection to him. I was at his wedding. I've met his I'm friends with his kids. It's a nice thing we have. It's a nice thing. It's a big part of my life. Taito, it's so great. I've been to Japan 4 times, and I love it. I love Japan. To me, I consider it my second home, if you will. And I have Taito Karate to thank for that, because they taught me to never give up. They instilled a samurai's warrior spirit of fighting, which is what drove me, what kept me going. The spirit. Another thing my sensei always talked about, we often would have a New Year's party called Kangeka, which means cold workout in Japanese. And he would introduce us to this little thing called the Daruma. It's this little red figurine with blank eyes. And the thing is, you make one wish you say what your wish is by filling in, when you put a wish in, you fill in one eye. When the wish comes true, you fill in the other eye. And the thing about the Daruma, every time you knock it over, it always comes back up. The common saying goes, you can knock a daruma 9 times. You can knock a daruma down 9 times, but it will get up every tenth time. No matter how many times you knock it down, it always gets back up. And that was something Sensei always talked about to us. He's a very intense guy. He's in his 70s, and he's a great. He's great. He's got this energy. He's awesome.
Thank you for sharing that. Views on how you think treatments have evolved today. Any insights or areas that you feel need special attention?
Well, I will say one of the things that has improved with autism treatment is, sometimes I would say that we can be kind of over medicating with autism or with ADHD or something. If you need the medicine, you can have the medicine. My parents tried it with me, and it didn't really work for me. So the fact is, not everybody. We can be kind of over medicated. Sometimes some people don't respond well to medicine, and that's something I feel like we should try to acknowledge. But we've made a lot of improvements psychologically. A lot of psychologists and a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists have better understanding of autism because we're more aware of it these days. With the difference of high functioning and low functioning autism, and we're making strides to help people with it. One thing is that I would like it that people acknowledge that yes, autistic people are they're no different than anyone else. We see the world no differently. We just see it more intensely than other people do.
What advice would you give to other parents who are dealing with an autism diagnosis for their child?
Well, I said this before, and I'll say it again. Don't give up on them. They need you now more than ever. This world will be against them, and they need you to step up, be in their corner to help them. Yes, this world is hard, and that's why we have to stick together and try to make it a better place. We need to encourage our children. We need to teach them that they can be somebody. Even if people tell them they can't. And you can't let people drag you down or tell you can't. And again, your children need you, and that's why you have to step up and help them achieve, no matter what.
And what message would you like to share with other families and individuals affected by autism?
I would have to say, I know this can seem tough, but we are all put through our own trials and challenges. I'm Catholic, so I do believe in God. I do believe in Jesus and stuff like that. I believe that God tests us, to show that life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Life is a battle, and you got to be willing to fight to get what you want, to help others. Yes, it's going to be an uphill climb, but that's what we have to do sometimes. The path will be tough, but we just have to have faith and keep pushing.
What about to, children or teenagers or young adults who have been diagnosed with autism?
Well, I would say don't let this stop you. It's just a diagnosis. Yes, I was never told I was autistic, so I thought I was like every other child. This is not a bad thing. This is not the end of the world. This doesn't limit you. This just means you're going to have to work harder to get what you want. This isn't a bad thing. This isn't the end. This is just another step. This is just another climb in the journey of life. An example I can give is that in martial art, in martial arts, we often talk about how the top of the mountain is massive. There is a mountain, and you climb that mountain to become a master. We all take different paths to the mountain, but when we get there, the path starts to blend. We start to see the similarities. And this is to describe how different martial arts styles have similarities to each other the more advanced you become. And as someone who's practiced multiple martial arts, it's important to understand the differences and the similarities. But yeah, I would say that don't give up. This is not the end. This is just another step, another trial, and you have to just have faith and keep pushing. I think it's important. Don't give up. Keep trying. Always try to strive to be better. Listen to feedback. How you can get better. Nothing is beyond your grasp.
Mr. Goodroe, thank you for sharing your story and life's journey. Your story is all about persistence and patience, which taught me a lot about focus and having a positive attitude. I personally learned a lot reading your book and speaking to you today. You are a true inspiration and one of my superheroes. I wish you continued success and look forward to cheering for your accomplishments.
Thank you very much. It was very nice meeting you.